Imagine this for a second. Deep inside your body, right now, there are millions of tiny cleanup crews. And they're hard at work, patching up damage, clearing out junk, burning fat, and even destroying dangerous cells before they can make you sick.
And this isn't science fiction.
No, not at all. This is a real biological process. It's a breakthrough so profound it actually earned several Japanese scientists the Nobel Prize. We're talking about autophagy.
Body's built-in reset button.
Exactly. So for today's deep dive, we're going to unpack the research, focusing mainly on Dr. Yoshinori Osumi's work, and then connect it to the wisdom of Japanese longevity experts.
Right. Our mission here is to give you the actual actionable habits they recommend to basically turn this system on.
Because here's the problem. Most of us are accidentally shutting the system down every single day with things as simple as, a late night snack.
So we want to give you a clear, science-backed shortcut to get that cellular revitalization going.
Okay, so let's start with the hard science. We have to understand what this thing is before we can understand the habits. What exactly is autophagy?
It literally means self-eating.
Which sounds a little alarming.
It does, but think of it more like your body's natural recycling program. It's like a quality control manager that goes around inside your cells.
And it's looking for what? Old, broken parts?
Exactly. Damaged proteins, worn-out mitochondria, things that aren't working efficiently anymore. It identifies them, wraps them up.
And then just destroys them.
Well, not just destroy, it breaks them down into their basic building blocks, like amino acids.
So it recycles the raw materials.
Precisely. The cell then uses those materials to build brand new, stronger, healthier parts. It is the ultimate cellular maintenance.
Now, this is the Nobel Prize-winning part. What actually triggers it? How do we turn it on?
That's the core of Dr. Osumi's discovery. The process ramps up when the body senses a challenge, specifically when resources are a bit scarce.
So we're talking about fasting.
Fasting is the big one, yes. Or significant physical stress. When your cells aren't getting a constant stream of nutrients, they shift their priorities.
Okay, let's get into the weeds on that for a second. How does a cell know that resources are scarce? What's the molecular switch?
It comes down to a protein kinase known as MTR.
MTR, mammalian target of rapamycin.
That's the one. Think of MTRR as the cell's growth and abundance sensor. When you eat, especially carbs and protein, insulin goes up. And MTRR gets very active.
And when MTR is active, the cell is in growth mode.
It's building, it's storing, it's growing, which means cleanup is, well, it's put on the back burner.
So eating constantly means MTR is always on, and the cleanup tree never gets a chance to work.
Exactly. But when you fast, insulin drops, nutrients aren't coming in, and the MTR pathway gets suppressed, it's turned down.
And that's the signal.
That is the green light for autophagy to start. The cell switches from growth to repair and maintenance. And the benefits of that cleanup, they're just astronomical.
Osumi himself called it the key process that keeps our cells alive.
And today, the list of benefits is, well, it's powerful. We're talking about things like melting stubborn fat, reversing signs of aging at a cellular level, and even protecting against diseases like cancer and Alzheimer's.
It really is a system-wide reset. So if we take that science and apply it to daily life, this is where the Japanese longevity experts come in. They give us the user manual. Let's start with the first big one from Okinawan culture, hara hachibu.
Hara hachibu. It's a phrase, almost a mantra, that means you stop eating when you're about 80% full.
Not when you're stuffed, not when you've cleaned your plate, when you're just not hungry anymore.
And a very mindful, deliberate practice.
That sounds simple, but, it's psychologically really tough for a lot of people. We grow up with this clean your plate culture. Is there a practical trick for gauging that 80% mark?
That's a great question. The best advice I've seen is to just put your fork down for a minute when you start to feel satisfied, but not quite full.
Just pause.
Yeah, just pause. Because it takes about 15 or 20 minutes for that satiety signal to really reach your brain. That 1-minute pause is often enough to make you realize, you know what, I'm good. I don't need those last few bites.
And that 20% difference metabolically is huge.
It's huge. You're preventing your system from being overloaded. The insulin spike from your meal is smaller, it's less intense.
Which means MTOR isn't as activated.
Right. And your body can get back into that maintenance state much, much faster. The Okinawans, who are famous for living past 100, they do this instinctively. Light dinners, no late-night snacking.
They're naturally creating these cleanup windows every single night.
They are. And this idea is echoed by one of Japan's most famous physicians, Dr. Shigeki Hinohara. He worked until he was 105.
105.
He always talked about simple, light meals, avoiding sugar, avoiding processed foods, basically practicing hara-hachi-bu.
But his approach was much more than just diet, wasn't it? It was holistic.
Oh, completely. He was famous for telling people to stay active, stay curious. He always took the stairs. He walked everywhere. And he said you should never fully retire.
Keep your mind and body engaged.
Absolutely. He famously had like olive oil, orange juice, and coffee for breakfast. And that was it. He wanted his energy stable and his digestive system light.
He also had some pretty strong views on personal responsibility for health, didn't he?
He did. He really cautioned against relying too much on doctors to fix you when you get sick. He believed health was an active, daily commitment to prevention, not just a reaction to illness.
Okay, so that's pillar one. Let's move to the second, which is the direct activation switch.
Yeah.
Timing your meals. We're talking about intermittent fasting.
Right. EF, as people call it, is the most direct way to trigger autophagy.
Yeah.
And it's really been part of Japanese culture, in subtle ways, for a long time.
So the basic idea is just setting aside a window of time each day where you don't eat at all.
Correct. And during that time, your body can finally shift its focus from digesting food to repairing cells. That's when we get that maximum mTOR suppression we talked about.
So what's the recommended time frame from the Japanese researchers?
The sweet spot seems to be somewhere between 12 and 16 hours of fasting each day.
So a 12-12 split is pretty manageable. Just finish dinner by 7 p.m., don't eat breakfast until 7 a.m.
Exactly. Anyone can do that. The 16-hour fast, the 16.8 protocol, gives you a much more powerful push into that cellular cleaning state.
And that kind of mimics how older generations ate, right? Skipping a meal if they were busy, or just naturally having a longer break overnight.
It does. And this is where the research from Dr. Takayuki Teruya gets really interesting. He showed that IF does way more than just help with weight loss.
It actually revitalizes your metabolism.
It really does. His work shows that fasting activates these metabolic pathways that, well, they strengthen our own internal antioxidant defenses.
Okay, unpack that a little, antioxidants.
So our bodies naturally create these damaging molecules called free radicals. It's just a byproduct of living. And that damage over time is called oxidative stress. It contributes to aging and disease.
Right.
Well, fasting actually boosts our body's ability to produce its own antioxidants.
So it's not about eating blueberries, it's about helping your body make its own defense system stronger.
You got it. It helps neutralize those free radicals more efficiently. That's why IF is so critical for the deep anti-aging effects, not just for, losing a few pounds.
Okay, so we've covered when to stop eating, 80% full, and for how long, that 12 to 16-hour window. Now, pillar 3, targeted nutrition. What do we actually put in our bodies?
This brings us to some really interesting modified fasting routines from experts like Dr. Yumi Ishihara.
His schedule is pretty specific, right? It's almost liquid for most of the day.
It is. The idea is a morning liquid meal, something like fresh carrot or apple juice, to gently break the fast without a big digestive load.
Then lunch is super light.
It's really light, black tea, a little bit of black sugar, and some ginger. And then you have one substantial, solid meal in the evening.
Hold on a second, though. Juice first thing in the morning? For someone trying to keep insulin low and mTOR suppressed, that sounds like a huge sugar spike waiting to happen.
That's a very fair and very necessary point, and you're right, it could be.
So what's the logic there?
The logic is twofold. First, the total calories for the day are still very low, which helps maintain a semi-fasted state. Second, the choices are specific for their nutrients. Carrot juice has beta-carotene for liver support. Apple juice has antioxidants and electrolytes.
But for the listener at home who's worried about that blood sugar rush, what's the practical advice?
Absolutely essential tip here. To avoid that spike, start with a small amount, maybe half a glass. And crucially, you can add a small handful of nuts or even a teaspoon of olive oil.
Ah, the fat and fiber.
Right. The fat and fiber will slow down how quickly that sugar gets absorbed, and that really blunts the insulin response. It makes it much more manageable.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And the lunchtime tea with the ginger and black sugar.
That's designed to be a gentle energy source. Black tea for metabolism, black sugar or muscovado, has minerals that refined sugar doesn't. And ginger is a fantastic anti-inflammatory and digestive aid.
So beyond that specific routine, what's the general dietary advice?
It's all about plant-forward whole foods. 1 or 2 solid meals a day, focusing on traditional Japanese staples. Lots of vegetables, seaweed, fermented foods like miso.
Good for the gut.
Very good for the gut. Fish, legumes, whole grains like brown rice. The key is eating more enzymes from fresh foods and reducing meat, which takes a ton of energy to digest.
And this ties into Dr. Hiromi Shina's work too, right? He was big on timing and hydration.
Dr. Shina was a huge champion of what he called the mini fast, that 16-hour window. His goal was to give the stomach and intestines a full 16 hours of complete rest every single day.
And what about hydration?
Very simple, but very powerful. He advised drinking a few glasses of pure water first thing when you wake up,
To flush everything out.
to flush out all the waste products that have accumulated overnight. And then green tea throughout the day,
Why green tea specifically?
because it's packed with these potent antioxidants called catechins. They're amazing at fighting that oxidative stress we talked about, and they seem to directly support the autophagy process. It's like a natural shield for your cells.
So to wrap up the nutrition part, what's the one thing we absolutely have to avoid if we want to turn autophagy on?
All the researchers are unanimous on this. Anything that causes a big insulin spike.
So refined sugar, white flour.
Exactly. A surge of insulin is like a giant stop sign for autophagy. It slams on the brakes by activating mTOR. Same goes for, artificial chemicals and factory farmed meats. They just disrupt the whole system.
So if we pull all of this together, the Nobel science and the Japanese wisdom, what are the three big pillars we walk away with?
I think it gives you a very clear map.
Okay.
Pillar 1 is Hahachibu. Eat until you're 80% full. Don't overload your system.
Pillar 2 is timing.
Take regular breaks from food. Aim for that 12 to 16-hour fasting window every day to turn mTOR off.
And pillar 3 is what you eat in your window.
Choose fresh, nutrient-dense, plant-based whole foods. Give your body the best possible building blocks for all those new cells it's making.
And it's so important to remember this isn't just about diet, it's a whole lifestyle. Dr. Hinahara's life showed us that. Daily movement, staying curious, it's a holistic approach.
It really is, and it's fascinating to me how the science of the cell connects so directly to the human element. Dr. Osumi is looking at microscopic machinery, while Dr. Hinahara, with his century of wisdom, is talking about finding joy and connecting with people as the best way to deal with pain. Which really raises a question for you, for the listener.
What's that?
How does that positive, curious mindset, that willingness to always be learning and engaging, how does that fit into your own longevity plan, right alongside these powerful physical habits of fasting and mindful eating?